We are live.
All right. Sorry, a little snag we hit. Kind of annoying. But I think
Today, we're going to go over.
let's not do that. um, okay, we are streaming everywhere. So we have to update the link, but that's okay. Hey, everybody, sorry about that. We had a little technical glitch. We had to go the Zoom route today. But welcome, everybody. As always, we are here today for Live Friday. And for anybody that's missing the link, we'll get it posted so everybody can check it out. But in the meantime, welcome, everybody. We today are going to go over some YouTube stuff or some transcript stuff and trying to get into what's called a RAG system. And Mario, while I'm doing this rest of this wonderful setup. I'm gonna figure out the rest, so just ensure that we're alive everywhere. But why don't we go over what a rag is and why we want to do this and what's the big deal about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So think of let's say that you have an AI, right? And you have a prompt. And so a prompt is kind of like your short-term immediate memory, right? It's an immediate recall, an immediate programming instruction. So in a prompt, you put things like your business address and you put things like your hours of operation and your location information, right? But let's say that you have some more information like services, or you have information like about a water heater, right? And you wouldn't embed that in your prompt, because if you put that in your prompt, then what invariably happens is you clutter up your prompt with a bunch of information that people aren't asking. So it creates a really expansive amount of token consumption, meaning that there's a lot of information in that prompt that's irrelevant to the majority of the user's questions. So what you do is you actually separate that into more of a long-term memory storage, which is kind of an archival memory storage, where you want to have, when a user asks a question, a search function of that knowledge that's then returned to the AI. So RAG, or retrieval augmented generation, just means that it is augmenting the context that's provided to the AI by retrieving information from a database. So that's the definition of RAG, right? And you use a vector store for that, which does what's called a semantic search. And semantic search allows you to very easily take a question. So let's say I say water heater, right? So there's two words in that. There's water, there's heater, there's three things: water, heater, and water heater. So you have three individual context pieces. And what retrieval augmented generation in a vector database does is it actually takes that information and semantically searches mathematically the characters and the combination of characters, every combination of characters. So it would search heater, water, water, heater, water, and heater, heat, watt, um, and several other types of different combinations. And then it calculates the distance from the 0 point, and the 0 point is a perfect match. So let's say I say water heater, and in the database I have water heater, right? Well, that's going to be a 0 match. That's a perfect semantic match for water heater. Let's say I have heater and I say water heater. That might be like a 0.6 or a 0.5, meaning it's half the distance to one being the furthest away possible and totally irrelevant semantically. So it would be a 0.5, meaning that it's half of the content that you're searching for. So you retrieve everything above a certain amount and you rank those based on distance. And then that gives you your knowledge that you provide the LLM that it then ingests, or the AI that it then ingests during the, like, it adds it on to the prompt dynamically, and then it processes the information and comes back with an answer.
Yeah, so I'm gonna shorten that because that was a lot of tech speak, and I love that stuff. But I'm gonna dumb it down for like the normal brain people like myself. Um, so think of it like this: imagine you went to the New York library, and the library is massive, and all of a sudden you wanted to find a book, but you have no idea where the books are, what section they're in, what the title is, who, like, and you, all you have is like a word. Well, what do? You go to the computer system in the library, you search the word book, and all of a sudden it says, oh, it's on aisle 4, like third floor, and in this area. And that's basically what this RAG system is. So AI came up with this really crazy fancy way. I mean, it's been around for a while, but again, AI has the ability of accessing this really cool database that searches for things in a really, 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 really massive library in a really short way and tries to get you the best results. Now, it's improving over time. So why is this important and why do you need it, right? So imagine like you wanted to take all of all of the videos you've ever created, like my YouTube channel, right? I wanted to like take all my videos and I want to make a mini Nuno that everybody can access all at once. Well, if I try to do that now, I have to there's nothing available other than a RAG system that can hold that much memory that can go fetch things based on the questions you ask. So if you ask like, hey, how do I set up a funnel? And I have like 3 videos on it, it has to search all those 3 videos on top of all the other 400 videos to find what it is to get you back the exact answer the way that I would do it. So introduce the RAG, and now all of a sudden the bot goes through the AI, that the chat goes through the AI goes to this RAG system that we build, and now it can find whatever answer you want in a very large context window. So, and Mario, the reason why Mario is so great at this thing, Mario is like taking hundreds and thousands of like information everywhere across and just made bots that are very specific to finding you the answer to your specific problem. All the AI help desks that you guys see out there right now, including high level, works off of a RAG system, meaning the chatbot goes through an AI, the AI goes to the RAG to find the information, and then it brings you back the knowledge base. Am I right on that, Mario?
Yeah, no, that's a good explanation. You have a really good way of like taking
Oh,
what
because
I
I'm dumber
say.
than you are. That's why.
No, you're not telling me. You're just a better teacher, man. I learned from you. You're a better teacher.
Yeah, like I'm just like I just like I get it, but can I sit there and code like you can? No, not yet. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of the general idea is really making it easy for you guys. The reason why we want to share this with you guys is if you ever wanted to create a massive database, and I got a perfect situation. Me, for example, I really do want to help my clients, my students to help find my stuff without having to search through 17,000. I mean, we're up to 400 something videos now. Wouldn't it be easy for you guys just to get like a little chatbot Nuno that you can ask a question and all of a sudden it gives you the exact video, the exact time that shows you how to do it? And that's the goal of what I've been trying to do. So today, that's kind of what we're going to try to build out. Mario, are you up and running with, could we use your side just to kind of make it super simple?
Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna use Apify
Yeah.
to create the YouTube video because I don't want to go through the whole
Yeah, I think the other
like,
one's like way too complex.
yeah. So we're gonna use Apify. Yeah, I'm up and running. I'm a little bit handicapped right now, but I am up and running. So let me pull up my trusty automated, no, that's automated sales, GHL
Yeah, and we're
coaches.
we're gonna use me as a guinea pig, so you guys can see it because again, I want to give this exercise to all my people, and then you'll be able to do this pretty much with anything, right? Like whether it's loading up your own documents, doing it for customers, having little pocket coaches that can help you wherever you go. So this is kind of be the goal of what we're going to be trying to do today. We'll try to get as far as we can based on the time that we have. If we go a little bit over, then we go a little bit over. If we, I mean, meaning we'll have to set it to the next, but this will be the beginning of how to set up a chatbot that communicates with the RAG. But the first thing you got to do is load things into the RAG. and then being able to communicate with it. And Mario, if we can, while we're building it, keeping it the re-ranker in mind or metadata in mind, so then we can find things easier. Like for instance, if we're gonna do my videos, if there's a way that maybe we can throw some timestamps or so
Yeah.
people can easily find some things. Because again, I would love for them to get back, go to this video on this time frame, and he'll explain whatever this is. You know what I'm saying? Just to make it super easy.
Yeah, so let me just you can keep talking for just a second. Um I
And then
am just subscribing to
yeah.
Apify really quick.
And then what we're gonna do though is we're gonna show you again the basics, and then what we also are gonna do is probably in the next iteration of this, we're gonna show you how to add normal files into it, like that. If you're working with a client and they're trying to create a RAG system, how could you work with a client that can access this? For anybody using high level, we now have APIs and like that can possibly connect to this too. So you'll have the ability of your voice AI agents or your chat widgets to actually communicate with this at some point in time. And we'll get into that as we keep developing into this route. But again, very important for anybody that's trying to build, you know, helpers or really evolved chat widgets that can answer really like lifetime questions and doing all of that, because that's going to be a pretty big difference, especially in like how much storage, right? Big thing that we have right now, even with GHL and some of the other bots, is that the knowledge bases work okay. Really good when you got like 12 documents. When you start getting into the hundreds of documents, the bot definitely starts losing it a little bit. And that's why these rags are becoming incredibly more, I would say, like usable, and they're becoming more user friendly, and more important, a lot of people are starting to use them. But all the big organizations are using rag systems, period. I can tell you for Capital One and some of the other companies that I worked for, they did it. So and what Mario's doing right now, and that's why we're taking a little long, and again, you got to excuse us today, we had a little tech glitch, is he's going to something called Amplify. I'll share my screen and I'll show you guys
I'm
where you
sharing my,
go.
I'm sharing my screen right now. Hold on, you know.
Oh, you got it? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just because I'm gonna go through the set. You're gonna walk me through the setup on Apify. So let me share a portion of my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I got to get you the right agents. Yeah, so Amplify is, just so everybody understands, it's a paid for service. And what it does is it basically goes out there and you can do different things with it. Now, based on the scrapers and the things that you have, it does a multiple of different things. You can scrape websites, you can scrape YouTube, you can do all this. The problem with this, with most scrapers and everything else in Amplify, is this is what I had to do to get around the 32 limit agents, because all of them have that on Amplify. So at any given time, it will have 32 agents that will go out and scrape the site. Now, the problem is you're limited to 32 actors in order to do it. And if you do that, then what happens is it will only get the certain amount that it's allowed and it won't rotate back. So I've had to create loops in order to get around it. Because sometimes it will just scrape like 3 or 4 videos and going in there. Can I turn up my mic a bit? Oh, let's see. Maybe I can, maybe I can't.
I can hear you. I can hear you good, man.
Yeah, somebody's saying they can't hear up my mic, but we'll do our best. I'll work on the mic while I was doing that. So again, Amplify is a scraper for everything: websites, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. It is a paid service. But you can see what Mario's doing is he's renting a bot right now. And what he's doing is he's coming in here, and there is a ton of scrapers for YouTube. This is just one that he picked, but honestly, it can be as many as you like. Um, but the main thing is that you only have a certain amount of actors, and the actors are usually I think the limit is 32 on the monthly plan, so you got to be really careful. The other thing is when you're getting these scrapers, the scrapers are also additional fees on top of the monthly subscription you pay for Amplify. So just understand that there is a cost to doing this, but this is almost like when you do the rag once, you kind of do it once and don't really do it again. Just to be clear. So what Mario's doing now is he's testing the bot to see if it works. And then once he tests the box to see if it works and it actually grabs the information, then what we'll do is we'll add it more. I think the one I had was a little bit cheaper. Way cheaper actually. Let me just look at mine. And there's so many to choose. You got to kind of like play with it. And this is kind of the harder part of the setup. Remember, this is advanced, guys. This is not like a intro lesson here. This is definitely a little bit more of the advanced, because setting up something like Amplify is definitely a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, I think that, Apify does make it a lot easier though for
100%.
people to, grab information versus having to build like a Python script or something like that. So, there's a lot of really good tutorials on YouTube for how to use Apify. So what it did is it just pulled the information about this channel. So it pulled the video ID, it pulled the video URL, cover image, and we have a transcript right here.
Now, this is
So
the other one that I used, Mario. I'm just going to paste it on here so you have it. Look up this guy real quick. I put it on the Zoom chat so you can see it. That's another one that I've been using. It's pretty good. And there's different ones you can choose. So if you go in here, you can see it pulled two videos. And there is a
I,
cost per it.
I told it to only pull 2 videos. So
Yeah. But the thing of it here is if you go to if you go to actors on the right hand, because this took me forever to figure out, you're allowed a limit unless you go into, if you want to buy more actors, it's premium and it costs a lot of money. So you're always going to be limited to, like, I think 32 is the base plan, and that's why I try to keep it at. So that's why I created a loop, Mario, because what was
Yep.
happening is I could only do like 5 at a time. I wouldn't even do 32 at a time. Because every time I hit 32, it just started going crazy. Yeah, that's the one that I've been using.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, a lot less, a lot more affordable. The other one's like, and here I'll put it on the chat in the live stream, guys. If you have it here, this is the Amplify. You got to search the store in order to get it. But that's what we need. If you could do the thumbnail too, because well, actually, do we even need the thumbnail? We really don't. But never mind. Forget I said that. Yeah, and see what he's doing. He's grabbing everything that it can do. And it also is asking if you want to use proxies, because if you use proxies, you'll see that it constantly rotates. I don't even know why you need proxies. Is there a reason, Mario?
Yeah, so if you don't use proxies, YouTube will actually block. So YouTube naturally blocks what's called a data center IP. So everything in Apify and the internet runs in data centers, and YouTube actively blocks those from being able to download and watch videos because they know that they don't like scrapers. Like, this is technically against the YouTube terms of service unless you own the content and things like that. So,
Well, I own the content, so
right, which is why we're good. But so just word to the wise, like, you do have to be a little bit creative, but a proxy insulates, like, it routes the traffic through someone's house that they get paid for that traffic, but it routes the traffic through someone's router in their house to YouTube to pretend to be their house. So it simulates being a residential home, essentially. So let's grab a video. Let me go to Nuno's videos right here. And let me just copy a link and go back into here. And we're going to test this. We're going to test this to see how it works. So we're going to do United States. And we're going to save this. And we're going to start this.
and you see how it says starting an actor? It's the bot that they have that will go and do the stuff. And this is where, again, a little bit more on the challenging scale as far as understanding tech a little bit, but this is literally how it's done, guys. Like, I mean, yeah, see, pulled all the information,
Yep.
description. We see his transcript anywhere in there?
Yeah, it's right. No. I see description, captions. Oh, right here.
Cool.
So I kind of like the other one a little bit better. The channel scraper. So which one do you want to use? You want me to use
We'll
the,
use whatever one's more comfortable. It doesn't even matter.
yeah, let's use the channel scraper. So the one of them requires you to do the looping function, but for me, I'm a fan of like pay for something to make it cheaper because the amount of time it takes and how much headache you've had to put into building out, multi-actor and all this other stuff. I feel like it just makes more sense to,
One and done.
yeah, one and done. The other thing is this has a free trial. So if you need to do just one channel or a handful of channels, you can do that really easily just by using the free trial. So that would be kind of one of the things I would recommend. But so I put in your YouTube URL. We're scraping 2 videos. We have, basic actor information. Let's see what the outputs show. So this shows 2 video URLs. It shows the transcripts, got the profile picture. What it doesn't look like it does, Nuno, is actually download the video. But
Do we need to download the video?
no, that's a problem for another day. We'll do a more advanced training. I think next week we should do a more advanced training where we actually do like the Python version where it downloads the video, strips the
Yeah,
audio.
I think we're all gonna need drinks for that.
And
That's gonna be like a cooler Saturday or something where it's gonna be like a 4 hour long training and you guys got to bring your own drinks because that one's gonna be tough. I know you've explained it to me like 7 times and yet I still look at you like a deer in headlights. I'm like, yeah, you lose me at Python. So it's like, but it'll be fun regardless. Oh,
so
see,
we've got,
I didn't even know there was an Apify freaking node. There's an
yeah,
Apify node.
it's a community node. So you just hit install node. And I'm gonna pray this works. It worked. You just hit install node and it'll install that node. So this is actually published by Apify for N8N. And guys, one of the greatest things about N8N is that it really gives people an opportunity to crowdsource. It gives our community an opportunity to crowdsource value and function. So like I built the high level essentially MCP endpoints for N8N and Apify, and then I contributed that to the community for free. Apify contributed to the community for free something that works with Apify. So this is like the best part of N8N, guys. Whereas in like Make and Zapier, you have to pay for premium extensions. With N8N, everything is free. Like the whole point of this is to empower entrepreneurs to automate their business and achieve financial freedom through automations.
So Mario, I don't know if I told you, but I got invited to the NAN event at their New York office on the 27th. So from like 6 all the way to like, I think 10 o'clock.
I might actually see you there. So I had,
so we'll go live and we'll go live from the event. It was a special invitation for all the NAN creators. So there's actually going to be some really good people that are really averaging this tool, and we'll promise to go live for you guys while we're out there. So
yeah, absolutely. That's actually that would be freaking amazing to actually meet you in person because did I meet you at Summit?
no, we did not. We did not. Hilariously enough, we did not. We have yet. Mario and I are virtual friends. So, a lot of my friends are virtual friends. I don't know if that's like making me very sad, but like because all my people I meet are all virtually online all over the world. I mean, I have friends all over the world, but the funny thing is that yeah, some of them I've never met physically.
That's too funny, man. All right, so let me go ahead and pull up N8N. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit run actor. We're going to select a credential. So remember, guys, you always have to authenticate, right? So everything is secure. So we're going to hit create credential, and we have an API key. You can see that my, Google Chrome password manager is like the most annoying thing in the world. I'm going to come over to Apify and grab a access token. So it doesn't show you my access token, so we're good there. And I'm going to call this Mario at Alibot.ai Apify token. Now, guys, it's really important to remember that you name everything that you're doing. Just for good housekeeping practices, this is going to save you hours of headaches later on. I can't tell you how many people, get frustrated by having unnamed tokens and things like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run an actor. We're going to do recently used actors. We're going to do the YouTube channel scraper. Now in Apify, if you remember, when we were in here in our actors under YouTube channel scraper, you have this JSON functionality right here. So I want to see if you can actually, so it's required. So we're going to do, let's do 10 videos. So we're going to grab the JSON for that. No script based on keywords. So we're going to grab the JSON for that, come in here, drop in the JSON. And you could actually dynamically populate this. So let's say that you had a spreadsheet of channels that you wanted to grab from. You could actually dynamically populate this, but in this case, we're not going to dynamically populate it. Let's see, we got memory is fine. We don't need build tags, so let's just hit execute
So
stuff.
if it was like 100 videos or 400 videos, like what would be different?
Nothing.
Oh, memory, all that, none of that matters.
It should be the same because it's sequentially scraping, not doing them all at once. If it was concurrently scraping, you need higher memory.
And what about the actor situation in here? You're saying that it wouldn't rely on the 32 actors if we had like more than like, let's say 32 videos?
Yeah, because this specific scraper that is in Apify or that I'm using right now, this specific scraper doesn't concurrently scrape. It's sequentially scraping. So it's handling the number of actors. And you don't really we're not pressed for time, right? We're not trying to scrape 400 videos in 30 seconds because we're going to lose all of our content if we don't. So, you can set more higher concurrency and things like that, but you don't really need it realistically.
Cool. And it won't time out on the NAN side. Sometimes, let's say if it had like 1,000 videos, right? There's no setting in here that we would have to, oh yeah, because we left the timeout blank.
Yeah, so timeout's blank, so it's not going to time out. And you can always hover over these in N8N. One of the cool things is you can hover over the question mark, and hovering over the question mark will give you information about what is going in that specific field. And usually developers are pretty good about, putting in the right information in there. So now we're going to go back to Apify and we can actually watch it work, right? So the actor's getting the data. So let's look at the log. Right now it's scraping, it's using Puppeteer. This is literally using the same code that I like. I was lost
Python for your
slightly modified version of the code that I use my Python. Yeah. I could probably make good money if I uploaded my actor to the marketplace.
You probably would. I mean, that is some significant ninja. Like when Mario gets like really super geeky and he like shows me some of the stuff he works on, I literally never feel so stupid in my life like looking at this stuff. It is literally like a different language altogether. Like, I mean, I'm pretty tech savvy, but then Mario's just takes it to a whole nother insane, ungodly level. I look at this thing and I'm like, what form of new language you're creating? It sounds like you're creating the new like Braille for something. It's like pretty bad. But the reason why like we have these things is one to show you always what's possible, guys, right? Like our expectation is like nobody's gonna figure this out on the first trial run. But when you see stuff like this and you're seeing us working it live, that's the other thing too. Where this is not a pre-made video, you know, we're completely live. We couldn't even get on we had to get on a Zoom call versus restream because it wasn't working properly. So there was like all kinds of things and issues going on. Then we come on here. It takes us a while to set up sometimes because like sometimes we're you know the actual tech is not working the way it's supposed to. So just understand that this is like for you guys to see that normal human beings, unlike you know the Instagram filters of the universe, takes takes a hot minute. Like you know we don't develop apps overnight. I know sometimes we do, but but it's like 4 hours of like nonstop, like racking our heads and throwing things at the wall. You know what I'm saying to make it happen. You know, or you like Mario, you drink the night before and then you have presentations completely sober and it's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. I was, yeah, I went out last night, and I got back at like 3 a.m., but I'm sober as a doornail. So, but
That's really funny, you know.
I got a
So
strong liver. I got a strong liver, so
I
it's
don't.
it's
I'm only 4 feet tall when you meet me, so I'm a short guy. On top of it, like you know, like I have a tolerance of a I don't have a gnat. You know, I drink one drink, and that's why I don't drink. So I rather find my way back to my hotel room. That's fine. So, but either way, everybody's just so everybody understands like moral of the story is don't get over complex. We're just showing you how things work real time so you guys can see. And you'll be able to see the final result because you'll see us building it slowly. So again, the goal of what we're trying to do today is we're trying to get all of these different things in. And Mario right now, what he's done, he's scraped. He's got all the different things coming in. Again, I don't see where the transcripts are in there.
yeah, it's weird. That's what I was. So it allowed me to run the actor, including its status and storage does not need to run specific IP.
Yeah, so now what we're trying to figure out is like we're looking we remember the main thing is we need the transcript. The transcript is what's going to serve as the search item that we're going to use to create the bot in the RAG system that's going to be able to fetch it. Problem that we're having now is it's not pulling the transcript, which is the bigger
Oh, we
problem.
can. I can get the. Okay, so we did run into an issue, which is that the memory was overloaded. So we are going to, so it told me if you go into the logs, and this is why it's important. And again, guys, to Nuno's point, like I was on a coaching call last night with one of my coaching clients, and because I do a lot of end-to-end coaching, and he'd been beating his head against a wall for an entire week on a project. And like we got on and it took us about an hour and we worked through it. But even I was like, oh, we tried that. It didn't work. Okay, let's try this. It didn't work. Let's try something else. And so it's just about it's just about persevering and really just having the dedication to make sure that um make sure that you get it done, but don't get frustrated and don't feel like you're so stuck. Ask for help. Like reach out to Nuno or myself. Like I'm happy to help you guys if you guys get stuck on projects like this. But anyways, let's go
So believe it or
into
not, like before this, like I have created one that I share with Mario, like I created a workflow. And the problem that I was having was the same exact thing. Mine was always either running out of memory or only pulling in a few of the transcripts and not all of them. So this is a common problem that I keep running into. And then when we get into the RAG side of it, my RAG was just stupid. It wouldn't put anything. It wouldn't actually pull the actual file, even though it had like 32, and I was asking very specific questions about the very specific videos that I pulled, and I was still having trouble. So we're serving two goals. One, how to scrape the sites so I can pull in all my videos and like that. I don't have to upload them single one by one into the rack system. And two, how can I do it a little bit differently in order to make this a little bit more comfortable per that sense.
so let's give it 4 gigs of memory because I have plenty of memory. I'm only running one actor. So I have a maximum of 32 gigs of memory. Let's just give it 32 gigs of memory.
And most of us won't have that, right? Most of us will have.
Yeah. No, you already get 32 gigs when
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, on the plan, you get 32 gigs. So, or we can scope that down. Let's go with 16. But anyways, let's go ahead and execute this step. I think I know what we need to do. So we're gonna go ahead and execute this step.
Yeah, but this is why me logically, Mario, and the first original one that I shared with you, I created the loop because this was the problem I kept running into. It would either do only a few of them and it wouldn't do it all, or it would shorten the process and only pull some of the information, not the entire information.
So right now it's scraping the videos. So we're just gonna give it a second to complete. While we're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and go into Apify. And we have run task. We have get run, get runs. So we're gonna get a run. And it's actively running. So we're just going to wait for it to finish. And I want to see if this API call is the one that's going to give us all the information we need. Because if that's the case, this is going to be a really
time, right? Like one at a
right.
time is that what you're referring to? So
Right.
so the first one pulls in everything, and now the second one, the get run, is going to pull the individual ones that they're doing for each of the channels, right? For each
Exactly.
of the videos. Okay.
Yeah. So right now it's running that scraper. So we're just going to give it a couple seconds to finish. Let's go ahead and start building out our RAG system.
Yep.
So one of the things that you're going to need to do is go to Qdrant.io. So that's Qdrant.io, which defaults to Qdrant.tech, and hit get started. So the cool thing with Qdrant, let me log out really quick so I can show you. But the cool thing with Qdrant is that they have a free plan. So if you go to pricing, they have a free plan, 1 gigabyte free cluster forever, no credit card required. This is more than enough for a standard RAG database. Like you don't need anything fancy. So everybody can use Qdrant for free to set this up, which is why one of the reasons why I picked Qdrant. So other options are like Pinecone, Supabase, Amazon Web Services, Google Vertex, or Google Cloud Storage. There's lots of different options for vector databases, but I prefer Qdrant, so that's what we're going to build in. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with Google. And I'm in my cloud. So we're going to create a cluster. And again, guys, you have free clusters and dedicated clusters. So we're just going to do a free cluster with 4 gigs of disk space. That should be ample for what we need. I pick usually Amazon Web Services, but you can pick Google Cloud or AWS, either one. So I'll pick this, and I'm going to call this Automated Marketer DB. So what we're doing is we're just naming this cluster, and we're going to hit create cluster. So now we created this free cluster, and I am going to burn this API key at the end. So don't try and go and steal my information. But the next thing we're going to do is we're good here. It's going to create that cluster. So while it's creating that cluster, let's check on our Apify run. So you can see now that we increased that memory, it scraped all the information that we wanted.
I wonder if it would be the issue if we did all like 400 videos.
No, it wouldn't be an issue because it sequentially scrapes them. It was running out of memory when it was trying to hit an individual video. It would just take like 20 minutes to run 400 videos as opposed to 5 minutes to run 10 videos.
Fair enough. And when you're setting up the RAG, right? Like, so I know most people just dump a bunch of information in there. Do you do anything where you're kind of giving it a little bit more metacode so it's easily searchable, like a title and everything else, like timestamps, like I asked, which, you know, would be really great if it comes back with like at this time on this video, do this thing. Because this is important. That's the other thing a lot of mistake people makes. And guys, this is a massive golden nugget for you guys, for anybody listening. And because I've been learning this, is that if you just dump a bunch of stuff into the RAG database and you don't give it like little meta titles, which we're going to go over how to do it, like titles, timestamps, and a couple of other things. What will happen is, just like the Dewey Decimal System in a massive library, it's like having the same, like it's having multiple books on all the subjects, but that's all you gave it. And you tell it it's on row 9 on the 4th floor, and row 9's like 7 rooms long. And you're like, well, I guess it's this video and maybe this time or whatever else. So the more information you give it, and make sure you're walking through what you're doing. I'll stop talking because I want to make sure people get that, because it's always these little nuances of like what goes here and what goes there that people get very lost on.
Yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for the data set ID because I think that's what I need. So I'm trying to see if I can find the data set ID from that run.
So he pulled
With,
information from the first original bot, which is what's on the left-hand side. That's the input. And now what he's doing is he's creating it where he can go right in here and find the particular one. So he's trying to
so
grab it. You sure it's not the
yeah,
ID? I thought I saw the ID.
well, I have the runs. That's what I just put in there was I'm just trying to avoid doing the raw API calls because I know that always confuses people. So let me look in Apify. We don't have data sets as a option. So I want to see more details. Container URL run ID.
Why not use the ID? Isn't the ID work just the same?
Oh wait, here we go. Here's the data set ID.
Which is on the
So
left-hand
this,
side, right? Oh,
yeah.
got it.
So
The
we need,
entire data.
yeah. So if I hit execute step now, this is going to give me all the information that we wanted, right? So
Show
what
that
I need to
again.
do,
Show that again real quick, because that was a little tricky. So if you're going to be
so I,
using this YouTube scraper, you went and
yeah,
where?
so I had to go into Apify to find it. What I want to do is figure out how do I find that in the run ID. So what I want to do is I want to come back actually and control F. All right, so this is where it is, guys. So right here, control F is your best friend because that's going to search through all this data in this previous node. So what we've done so far is we run on execute. We've run this actor. This actor has returned a lot of JSON data that's basically just a vomit of information about that specific scrape event. So then in here is going to be a default data set ID. That's right here. You're going to need this specific merge value. So my next one that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually grab that merge value and drag that into the data set ID right here. And I'm going to turn that, you would want to turn this limit to whatever you want. So I'm just going to set 1,000. And then we'll hit run. That's going to rerun that actor. And then that's going to grab that data set information. So that's going to just rerun really quick. So we'll just give it a second to rerun. And then while we're doing that, let's go back to setting up our Qdrant database. You can just hit quick start. This is going to give you information about how to set up a collection. But the easiest thing to do to set up a collection is just go into the console. And you would want to delete this, all this. And over here on the bottom right, there's a commands palette. So the commands palette, we're going to do create. And we're going to do a put create collection. And we got to put some information in that collection that we want to create. But what we're going to do is we're going to call this YouTube channel. You can hit run and it will automatically create that collection for you. So now we go to our collections. You can see that we have a standard collection right here with no data in it. So all we did is we went into the console. We had put collections / YouTube channel. That's it. Let's check on our end-to-end scenario, still running. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a chat interface. So I'm going to add a node. I'm going to add a trigger. And that trigger is going to be on chat message. We're going to make that chat publicly available, or we can host it. Let's leave it hosted. So chat message. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to attach an N8N AI agent to it.
And this is going to be the AI that's going to act like the Dewey Decimal System, like the librarian. That's the way I like to think about it.
Right, exactly. So while we're doing that, we're just going to move this over here. While it's processing this information, we do need to add a vector store information in here. So we're going to go into our AI, and we're going to go into let's do embeddings. We're going to do vector stores, and this gives you your options for vector stores. We're going to add a document to the vector store. So you see what I did there? I added a new node. So where's my add node over here on the right? I added a node. You can search Qdrant, and you want Qdrant vector store. Okay, you don't want the Qdrant one with the check mark. You want the Qdrant vector store right here. This is going to be the easiest one for you guys to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to select an embedding, and we're going to use an OpenAI embedding. I need to create a new credential, and give me 2 seconds, guys. Let me pause my screen share.
Again, while he's doing that and he's getting his open API key, which we've shown plenty of videos how to do that in the previous ones, and we're running a little short on time. So remember, there is going to be a definite part 2 for this, because we're going to show you how to go in. We are showing you the first initial part, then we're going to have a part 2, which is going to be next week, hopefully, if all of our travel schedules work. And then we'll show you the secondary part. But right now, we connected Apify, right, which is the thing that's going to pull all the information in. We showed you how to run the actor inside of there. We explained all that stuff and why it works the way it does. We already identified the first issue because we ran out of memory. We increased our memory and it fixed that issue. Then we went into Qdrant. We created an account. We started creating and going into commands and basically building out a database there that we're going to be able to store the vector, right? That we're going to be able to store all this. And then we solved the issue with the data set, which is what we needed to come in to pull all the information in. A little bit more technical, right? But that's kind of the process that we're in now. And then what we've been doing is we're setting up the chatbot that we can communicate with the vector store. And now we're also getting ready to load all the documents in.
So I have time. I don't know if you have a hard stop at 11,
I have a hard
but
stop, unfortunately. I have a hard stop at 10:55, but it'll be a really good cutoff point. If we want to just get through the actors and try to get the stuff in, then I think we'll be in a good spot.
yeah, so the actors, it processed all the information. So you need that data set command, the resource data set, get items. The data set ID comes from over here. You're not going to hard code the data set ID. Remember, you're going to use this green merge value that you're going to drag from over here into the green merge value. That's default data set ID. And when we're done with this, I'm gonna publish this entire scenario to YouTube or to GitHub. So when we're done with it, we'll be able to share with everyone. So you can just basically pop in your credentials and be ready to rock.
Cool. And then yeah, we'll pause it right here, guys. Like I said, we'll be back next week again. Just Mario and I do travel quite a bit, so we always have to align on the Fridays because sometimes Mario's in like nowhere land at 2 a.m. in the morning. So that being said, but again, hopefully this was this is why it's called Vibe Fridays. This is vibe coding at its best. We will constantly show you the things that we're working on and how to build in. Watch this again on slow-mo. Try to really get the concepts down, write some of this stuff down, and we're going to go into part 2 as we build it live so you guys can see it. All right. So thank you everybody again for coming on, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you, everybody.